Welcome to the one-man show. And tell me why won't you listen to a word that inspires me? And why won't you listen to me? Well, you know what you've done. You've become an icon. Well, you've embellished your ways and abused them for all. So tell me, how does it feel beating around the bush? And that, my friend, is a double meaning. And you think it what makes you so stubborn? Welcome to the one-man show. And tell me, why won't you listen to a word that inspires me? And why won't you listen to me? Why won't you listen to me? I know you've heard it all before, so what's the use in trying? All your misheard lyrics and paraphrases driving me, all that there's no denying. But do you even know what you're singing? The perilous of its words and disgracing their meaning. Oh, how. Welcome to the one-man show. And tell me, why won't you listen to a word that inspires me? And why won't you listen to me? Well, you know what you've done. You've become an icon. Well, you've embellished your ways and abused them for all. So tell me, how does it feel you listen to me?
Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here with Black Flag Racing TV, and we are already at round 7 of the Open GR3. Can't believe we got here so quick. We did obviously postpone at round 3 for the TVT, but the next 4 races have just absolutely flown by. But here we are. We are here at Dragon Trail International Raceway. We are at Dragon Trail Gardens this time round. Normal way round. No reverse shenanigans today. Should have a full grid of 15 as well, which is looking awesome. Actually loving the fact that we're getting so many at the moment, and lots of full lobbies. It makes for great racing. Want to do a quick shout out to the guys at Sim League Pro. They verified us today and made us an official team on that, and it's been it's awesome. It really has made the difference with getting things organised, and looking forward to how 2023 is going to look using those guys to do all of our race management, or using their site anyway for race management. But anyway, the order of the day has got to be about the race today. We'll have a quick look who's already in the room and who are the runners and riders. So quite simple. Let's have a quick look at the standings, where we are currently, and then we'll have a look at who's in the room. So that's where we currently stand. You will note there's a lot of Porsches in there. Not everyone's in a Porsche, but I can't remember what cars people were in, so yeah, whatever. So Kevin is currently the championship leader, 138 points for him. Stormfly in second with 116. Avalon inside that top 3 with 112. I will tell you that Stormfly has changed his colours in the Toyota Supra. I will update that this week, of course. PM10 Racing in the Porsche 911, 104 points. Still a good shout for top 3 for him. And thank you again to Paul for the track guide for this evening and for all of our other races. Essentially, PM10 is our stick. Some say that he was formed in the asphalt of a road laying truck, but we just call him PM10. Stargroup is in 5th place, 102 points. So again, just outside that top 3. Still all to play for those top 5. G-Mac also, he's only 20 points behind 4th. So it's a good opportunity for him in the European Mazda. Then we've got Yellow Sausages and Get Well Soon, mate. He's back in hospital with his gammy leg. He's picked up an infection in his dodgy leg. Hopefully, touch wood, they sort that out for you, buddy, and all good. TJ running in 8th place. He won't be racing this evening. There's a little football match going on today or for the Netherlands to watch. Bandit in 9th place and Digi in 10th. And then we'll obviously down the order. The reason the top half got so many points is because most of them have raced in nearly every race. A lot of the others have only done 1 or 2. But we do have Panos and Demos back with us. We do have Canados with us as well. Nick John Baker is back with us, and it's good to see Mr. Cool Runnings actually joining us as well. So who have we got? We've got Canados, we've got Demos, Avalon Shadow, of course, PM10 Racing, Kevin 77, Panos is there, Thanos is there. It's a very Greek heavy contingent today. Aussie Rooster in 9th, Cool Runnings in 10th, Fubar in 11th. He's gone for the McLaren 650 GT3. You will know there's a little bit of an issue with the way liveries are displayed, but that's down to hopefully touch wood, they'll be fixing the update tomorrow. Bandit is there as well, and Christo is number 13. We're waiting for 2 more to join us. One of those is Smoky Tom, and the other is I can't remember, someone else. But yeah, so we should have 15 this evening. Qualifying starts in about 4 minutes or so. So we'll be back with you shortly. I'll just give you the track guide now. So this is PM10 in the Mercedes AMG. Turn 1, it's only a little bit of a touch of the brakes just to get it turned in. Big braking zone here. And you want to maximise your exit on this corner because you can power straight through. Be careful of those sausages. They will and can throw your car upside down if you hit them at the wrong angle. You power down the hill here. And this is the biggest braking zone of the circuit. Looking for the 100-metre board, get on those brakes and get it turned in, clip in the apex for that big 180 switchback as you head down under the bridge and then through this little twisty section, flat out, staying as far as you can to that left-hand side, getting on the brakes slightly to turn in, and again here, braking, little touch of brake just to get the turn in before you're back on the power again. And looking for that black patch on your left-hand side. This is a triple apex. It's one corner really. You essentially power through 2, 3, and 4 of that corner. It's a kind of 4-pronged corner. Then you're up the hill towards the final 2 corners. 100-metre board on those brakes. Don't have to turn in too early here. You ignore the first apex. Second apex is your friend. That's the one you want to clip, and then you're on the power and you complete this lap. So qualifiers will come, we'll jump in and we'll have a quick look at qualifying, see how everyone's getting on. Why not? Let's do that. We are a couple of people short, and I'm going to say this now because it's on my mind. It's incredibly frustrating that it's very difficult it's been difficult to get full lobbies. We've got to the stage where we've got full lobbies, and we've got 15 people ticking in and all saying they're going to race, and then it comes to the race time and 2 don't show up. And to be honest, it's a bit of a piss take because we've had people turned away from races in the last couple of weeks because we've had the illusion of a full lobby. I don't know what we're going to do long term with regards to people signing in and then not signing up. I think we'll have to come up with a plan, but it can't go on. If you're going to race, tick in. If you're not going to race, take yourself out of the running. I think that's the easiest way to do it. But everybody we expected to be heels here, bar 2. So there's Wiggy, he's in the GTR. We've got Canados, he's in the Toyota Supra with that monster livery, Patronus monster. Cool Runnings, he's gone for the Porsche 911, of course he has. And it's not putting the liveries on at the moment, not on every car anyway. Kevin 77, he's in the C7, again no livery on that car. But this is a lobby issue, I'm sure will be repaired over the next few days. Didn't forget to say hello to Demos and to Jason who are watching. Hope you're enjoying your evening. There is Demos. I need to change this because I want... No, I don't want this one. This is Demos. He's gone for the VW Beetle. I criticised the choice of this car last week, and to be fair, he proved me wrong. It's a very, very decent motor car, and certainly in his hands anyway. There's Thanos. He is in the Corvette as well as Kevin. There's two of them running that Corvette. Panos in the AMG Mercedes. We saw that in the track guide from BM10. A little bit of lag from him there. Hopefully this will be solved over the with the update tomorrow. Aussie Rooster in the 911. No livery showing up on that car. Fubar, he's got in the pits for a change already, which is a bit odd. Yes, I thought you were. There's his first race in this series. He's gone for the Aston Martin. And we've got Bandit also in the Corvette for this race. So in terms of lap times, waiting to see who sets the fastest lap. And while we're doing that, I want to have a quick look and see who should be here and isn't, because I need to make a little note of that. Smokey Tom is not here, we expected him. I can't see who the other missing link was. Oh, PM10, where's PM10? Oh, he is here. There's PM10. So we're starting to see the lap times come in. 1:29.8 from Kevin, puts himself on pole position. Cool Runnings with 31.5, puts himself on the front row with him. That's a good lap from him. Thanos with a 31.5 also. There's literally nothing in between them. 300th of a second. Panos, 31.6 from him. 700th of a second. Nice and close out front at the moment. Wiggy with a 1:31.7 in that GTR. Just a 10th between him and Panos. And 4 tenths between him and Aussie, who's done a 1:32.2. Then we've got a 1:32.9. Sorry, 1:32.3 from Demos. Good lap time from him. And literally 2 tenths slower is Avalon with a 1:32.6. PM10 just putting in another fast lap there. We've got Canados 1:33.0 and 10-second difference to PM10, 1:43.5. Now bear in mind he put in the representative lap time for us. I would have thought to see him a bit further up the field. I'm sure that was an anomaly in itself. Fubar in the McLaren. He's got a new livery on there, which unfortunately we can't see because of these little lobby issues. 1:33.7 from him. And Hristo puts himself on the second row. Third place, that's a good lap from him. And Bandit yet to set a lap time. So Kevin currently the pole sitter. He is 1.2 seconds faster than anybody else on that racetrack. And 1:29.8. Nobody else can sub 1:30 just yet. Demos joins him on the front row. That's a 1:30.8 from him. As Panos puts himself on to row 2 in that AMG. Also with a 1:30.9. Aussie Rooster joining him on row 2 in that 911 with Avalon Shadow 9 thousandths of a second off of that time with a 30.979. Thanos joins him on row 3 with Cool Runnings leading up row 4 with Hristo just behind him. And there's literally nothing between these two guys. Nothing at all. Everyone seems to be very, very close in terms of lap times. apologise for that. My son fired me, actually fucking stink. I thought one of my animals had died. So the gap for Kevin's just come down a little bit. He was 1.2 seconds clear. He's now only half a second clear as Avalon in his 911 puts in at 1:30.3, just half a second off the current pole position time. Not here this evening, by the looks of it. He certainly didn't check in. So no Stormfly today. To be fair, he did say he took a penalty for using the wrong car because he switched at Spartan Supra, then switched back to the 911 in the last race. So he's had a 10-point penalty, and obviously with him not racing today, he has got his race token to use. But I think both tokens have been used by him now. There's Demos. He's got himself onto row 2. That's a really good performance. And I'll tell you what, the Greek guys are really putting in a shift, and that is a 30.8 from him. But his teammate and compatriot Panos just behind him. Still some time to find though, because Kevin is still your pole sitter, and nobody else has gone sub 130 just yet. Aussie Rooster 130.9 is his best time. Hasn't been able to improve on that since his third hot lap. We are 7 minutes into qualifying, 15-minute qualifying session here. Then it is a 60-minute endurance race. The settings are as they are. I'll go through them in a minute if you want. Not going to worry too much at this stage. We will go through them, and it's going to be balls out from the start. I have a feeling the top 3 in the championship, and we can bring that up actually. There's the top 3 in the championship. I have a feeling this could change today. Certainly with VR46 Stormfly not racing, that gives Avalon a really, really good platform to put himself into second. PM10, we know if he can put in the laps that we've seen him do. And I know he's had a few issues with the steering wheel, which has cost him some time. And he had a few issues with some lag last time out. But he does now have PS5, so it shouldn't cause him a problem. And fully expect to see him in there or thereabouts. GMAC not racing this evening. He's at work, so he won't improve in his time. But Star Group will. Star Group will most certainly. We will definitely be in amongst that. Chris, unfortunately, Yellow Sausages is back in hospital, so he won't be improving his time. But that'll give an opportunity for Bandit, Demos, Panos, Aussie, all those guys right down the order that haven't raced much. An opportunity just to kind of edge their way up a little bit. So no change out front. It is still Kevin and Avalon on the front row. It is Demos and Panos on row 2. Row 3, Aussie Rooster and Thanos. Not the same one with the Infinity Rings, a completely different one. Hardwire and Cool Runnings on row 4. Wiggy and Fubar on row 5. Row 6 is PM10 Racing with Canados. And at the back of the pack at the moment is Bandit, 2.3 seconds off the pace in that Corvette. But, putting in a shift. That's the most important thing. He's putting in a shift. New record for Wiggy. Where does that put him? Puts him up to 8th place. An improvement on his time. We just look. If we look through the order here, Kevin's improved his time with a 29.5. Open up that gap to 3/4 of a second to Avalon, who's I think happy with his time and is in the pits, just chilling now. Cool Runnings is only 1.5 hundredths of a second off the time of Avalon in that Porsche 911. That's 130.3. So could very well be knocking on the door here for a place in front row. But also he's got Panos behind him. Panos with a 130.3, just 300ths slower than Cool Runnings. Can certainly, if he can find a little bit of time, he could find himself in the front row too. Half a second back is Demos in that VW Beetle. He finds himself just 1/10 clear of Aussie Rooster. They're on row 3 currently. We've got about 5 minutes left of qualifying, so that's 5 minutes to find some time, which is about 3 or 4 laps, realistically, on those soft tyres. And obviously, you want to burn off as much fuel as possible, while keeping as much grip as possible. Nice light car. You should see the times tumbling somewhat. There is the mighty god Thanos. He is half a second back from Aussie Rooster. Still on row 4, he's got Wiggy with him. Yeah, it'd be good for you to race a few during the week, Jason, because we do miss having you about, my friend. We do miss having you about. As Canados sets the new lap, Panos sets a new time, and Kevin also sets a new time. So Wiggy currently sitting 9th, so he's moved off row 4 into row 5 in that GTR. And dude, I almost had you. For some reason, his livery is sticking where others aren't. So frustrating. But touch wood, this will be fixed tomorrow. A number of things need to be fixed tomorrow, but hopefully that's one of them. There's Hardwire. Initially showed some very good times in the top 3 briefly. Now currently sitting with a 31.4. He's in the Aston Martin V8 Beast. And love the livery on every Aston Martin. Aston Martins should always be British Racing Cream or multicoloured. PM10 Racing with a 1:30.6. Where does that put him? It puts him on row 3. Splits Panos and Canados. So Canados moves up the order, and we see Demos starting to drop down the order now as Aussie puts himself onto row 4, the front of row 4, just 600ths slower than Canados, and 1/10 quicker than Demos. Bandit's still at the back of the pack, 3.9 seconds off the pace. And Fristo just in front of him. And that's not the way to do it. You can't park that there. So gets it back on the road eventually. As we see Panos putting in a new record and Fubar putting in a new quickest time. So there is Wiggy's dropped all the way down the order again. 31.4, his best time in that GTR. And that's not the way to improve your lap. So he's going to have to go round again and try and get a quicker lap in this time. Fubar in the McLaren, and I'm absolutely gutted we can't see his cool and nice new livery. Yeah, he's one of those things. I'm not going to complain about it today. What's the point? We'll complain tomorrow if it hasn't been fixed. How about that? There is Thanos. He's opted for that Corvette. Do you know what? I never really saw anyone drive this Corvette until Kevin did. Now I'm starting to see more and more people extolling the virtues of it. At PM10, we knew he had the time in the bank, and he's done it. He's put himself on the front row and gone sub 1:30. There is Demos. He's in 8th place. He is just behind Aussie Rooster. I think Aussie Rooster has decided to bank that lap. And where's Avalon ended up? Avalon is where? 4th. So he's dropped out of that top 3, but I think he's happy with his lap time. He tends to be one that gets the lap time done early, and I extol the virtues there because I think that's the best way to do it. If you can get a decent banker lap in early doors, you don't have to worry. If you want to, you can go out and you can try and improve it, but it's not entirely necessary. The last thing you want to do is not be out there, not be putting a banker lap in, and then find yourself at this stage of qualifying with a bit of work to do. But that puts so Kevin with another fastest lap with a 1:29.1. So really starting to ramp it up, and he doesn't just find 10ths. I say doesn't just find hundredths. He finds 10ths. He's found loads and loads of time now. Almost a second he's found from the beginning of qualifying to now. Just improving every corner. PM10 is 3/4 of a second behind, but he is sub 1:30 with a 1:29.9 in that Porsche 911. Panos also in the he's in the Corvette, isn't he? No, he's in the I can't tell what car he's in. Oh, he's in the AMG. He's in the AMG. He is currently on road 2, 1:30.1. He's got Avalon for company, and Cool Runnings heads up row 3 with Canados for company. Canados in that GR Supra. Row 4 is Thanos and Aussie Rooster. Demos and Fubar on row 5. Row 6 is Wiggy and Hristo Bratfanov, Hardwire himself. And Bandit brings up the rear in. So we've got a Corvette at the front and a Corvette at the back. So very different performance levels from the two Corvettes, and there's a big spin going on behind there as Demos sets a a new fastest lap, which puts him on the front row in that Volkswagen Beetle. What a lap that was. 129.8. That relegates PM10 down into the second row alongside Panos. So pretty much that's it. 10 laps of qualifying. It's there or thereabouts. We've got 9-10 laps. And this is how it looks. It'll be Kevin 77 and Demos on the front row. Row 2 will be PM10 Racing, our very own in-house stick, and Panos alongside him. Row 3 will be Avalon Shadow and Mr. Cool Runnings. Row 4 will be Canados with his compatriot Thanos. Row 5, Aussie Rooster with Fumar Philantis. Row 5 will be Wiggy and Hristo Bradfordov. And at the back of the pack, but last by no means least, is Bandits. Yeah, it's one of the bugs that we've had in lobbies since the update, and I had it yesterday as well. To be fair, I was racing a daily last week when 3 people were driving with my 155 livery on. It's a bit rubbish, but hopefully, touch wood, it's one of the issues that are fixed tomorrow. Excuse me. I don't know what I'm doing. I've done pretty much nothing all day. So, qualifying over, done and dusted. It is Kevin from Demos, from PM10, from Panos, Avalon Shadow, Cool Runnings, Canados, Thanos, Aussie Rooster, Fubar, Wiggy, Hristo, Bratfanov, and Bandit. All ready to race. Very surprised, actually, to see Bandit racing, bearing in mind there's a little football match going on that I thought he might have been interested in watching. That's the reason why we got no TJ. That'll be also why we got no Nick John Baker, who was signed in to race tonight. Did find it strange he signed in to race, and obviously he's off now watching that game. So, that is our lineup. We are, 2 minutes from starting about that? 2 minutes? So let's have another look at the standings while we wait. So we are looking for performances. Well, I mean, Canados has put himself in a position to get some good points. But I tell you what, it's going to be very difficult to close that gap on Kevin. The closest person to him at the moment is Stormfly, currently in second. But with his penalty for using the wrong car, the gap has already opened up a little bit and put him in a bit of a bind, because Avalon now, PM10 Racing and Stargroup all within touching distance, and PM10 Racing's put himself in a very, very good position to cement a place in that top 4. Whereas Avalon's in 5th, so he can consolidate as well if he can just get a couple of places from there. Cool Runnings, this will be his first race. How far up the leaderboard can he put that car in his first race in this GR3? This is round 7. We've just got 3 rounds left. It is 3 rounds left, isn't it? I'm not mistaken in thinking this is an 8-round tournament. I'm sure this is a 10-round tournament. Yeah, we've got 3 rounds left. We've got Suzuka, which will be next week. Then probably, I think it depends on how we are fixed for people Christmas week. We did have Autopolis advertised. We have changed Autopolis. It will now be Road Atlanta. And then we finish, we stay in the United States and we finish at the Glen, Watkins Glen. So, yeah, that's where we're going. So we've got 21st of December will be Suzuka, 28th will be Road Atlanta, and the 4th of January at Watkins Glen. So race is ready to go. Let's get rid of that so people can see what's going on. And let's get in and spectate the race. So how well do they all get away? Well, it seems to be pretty clean to me. No problems there. Kevin away well. Demos maintains second place, but he's got Panos and PM10 absolutely crawling all over him to try and nick that place early doors. Does the little Beetle have the pace needed? As we see PM10 moving through into second place, but Demos not giving it up too soon. But there is PM10, he's already made up a place into second. Demos loses the place, he's down to third place in that Beetle, but holding on for dear life. Panos already half a second back to Panos. Look at that shot. What a great shot. Cars coming through there. Cool Runnings running in 5th place. Good start from him. He's got Thanos behind him. He's got Canados behind him. Avalon Shadow losing out really big time from the start. He's under pressure from Fubar in that McLaren already. He might lose another place here. Round the outside. Fubar doesn't hang it around the outside, but he is still tucked in behind him. In terms of strategies, it is 2 tyres required. PM10's gone for a quick start on the racing soft tyres, whereas Kevin out in front is already nearly a second clear, is on the medium tyres. Demos on the mediums, he's lost a little bit of time to PM10, but it explains why he lost that a little bit that time, and he's already 1.5 seconds behind him. But they are on differing strategies, so it'll be good to see how these different strategies play out over the course of the race. PM10's sole purpose at the moment is to try and create a gap and stick as much as he can with the current championship leader. Cool Runnings has got himself up into 4th. He's on those medium tyres, so good running from him. And he's ahead of Panos in that AMG. The AMG also on the medium tyres for the first stint. Thanos gone for mediums. Avalon Shadow gone for the softs. He's up to 7th. He's got past excuse me, he's got past Canados now, up in 7th. Now, he started in 5th and he's on the soft tyres. It's got to be about hammer time and getting the most out of those soft tyres for this first stint now, because everyone around them on the medium compound tyre. There is Canados, he's on those mediums, he's on that GR Supra. As we see Aussie Rooster having a little wobble behind. Wiggy going through on Fubar, so Fubar losing out, dropping down to 11th place as Wiggy gets a GTR up into 10th place. And it's so gutted we can't see that. It's a really cool livery. I assure you the livery on Fubar's car is really cool, but we can't see it. Bandit running in 12th place, and Hristo had a really poor start. Finds himself already 7.5 seconds adrift. So decent qualifying from him, and got, wasn't last, but has found himself now with some work to do to close the gap on the Dutchman Bandit. There is your race leader. He's not pulling away with PM10 sitting in that slipstream. Is he able to make a move? Now we know PM10's on the soft tyres, so it is going to be about how big a gap can he get on those soft tyres and to make it work for him. Now we have already seen him in this championship putting on intermediate tyres instead of softs. Hopefully he doesn't do that again, as we see just how much it unsettles the car when you go over those orange sausages there on the inside of that chicane. Really can unsettle your car and can actually send you flying into the realm of the dead. So we are with PM10, who's trying to close the gap to Kevin. Well, he has closed it. He's closed it to 0.3 of a second. But the gap now, if you look already, we're only on lap 3. And already these two have pulled out a 3.4 second gap on Demos in the Volkswagen, who at the moment has Cool Runnings all over him in that Porsche 911. And the Porsche is such a strong GR3 car. It's almost as if the Porsche have paid PD to make their car a little bit racier than all the others. On BOP it is so difficult to find a better car at GR3 level, unless of course your name's GMAC and then you're in the European Mazda. So there is Cool Runnings really trying to close on Demos if he can. He's right in that slipstream. Is there an opportunity for an overtake here? They're both on the medium tyres, so there's not going to be any grip advantage for either of them. The only people on the racetrack, in fact, that started on the softs were Avalon Shadow, who is now up into 5th place, starting to get those tyres working for him. He's back to where he qualified, so it's taken him 3 laps just to regain where he started. Don't know who that is to join the room, but it's going to fucking cause problems now with lobbies, with people jumping in and jumping out. Don't know who that is. Hi friends, bye friends. There is Panos. He is running in 6th place. Half a second back from Avalon. Bit of a wobble there in the AMG. Was that wobble or lag? It looked like a wobble, but it may have just been lag. Because Thanos didn't get to go through, but Thanos is nice and close to him in 7th place in the Corvette. Aussie Rooster, there he is in the 911, and there is no liveries on any of the 911s, which is very disappointing. It's the Corvettes and the 911s very badly affected by this livery issue. And hopefully, with someone leaving the lobby, it hasn't going to cause like super lag problems like we normally have when someone that starts leaves. And at the moment behind there is a battle going on there. Fubar with Canados and Wiggy all battling it out for 9th place at the moment. And it's Canados that wins out. Wiggy just into the back of him as they come through the final 2 turns. So much more pace there. And that allows Fubar through as Wiggy just trying to get his car back and settled. And here they go. There's Canados, there's Fubar, there's Wiggy crossing the line to start lap 5. Wiggy tucked nicely in behind that McLaren. And the pace at the moment is very good. We've got some, all the guys out there are very talented drivers. And Bandit already losing out. He's back in 13th place in the Corvette. 2.4 seconds behind Fristo. Fristo is 5.1 seconds behind that battle for 9th place. Out in front, the gap is smaller, but still PM10 has not been able to get that Porsche past Kevin and into the lead of this race. That's where he desperately wants to be at this stage, to pick up the big points and the big bucks. He wants to get that 911 up in the lead of this race and try and build some sort of gap while he's on those soft and compound tyres. They are now 5.1 seconds clear of Cool Runnings, who's just starting to pull a little gap on Demos. He's ahead of Demos and he's just got a little gap on him. It's only 0.8 of a second, but it is enough to not be giving up any steps. In fact, on the straight, that 911 really pulling away from Demos, and should, by the time he goes into turn 1 here, be out of the slipstream range only just. But of course, when you go back into the corners, that is where the Beetle is a little bit stronger, is through the corners. It's the power out, not so great, and top end power, not so great. Wobble there from Demos, and his issue now is Avalon. There's Avalon in another 911, streaming past up into 4th place. So he's starting to make those soft tyres work for him. Up into 4th. His next target is another 911. That 911 is 1.3 seconds clear. As Demos trying to come back at him, can't get up the inside, just has to tuck in again and let the race play its course. Out in front, it's still the same battle raging on. There's PM10, and Kevin doing a very good job of managing this race. PM10 with the fastest lap with a 1:30.9, but Kevin very settled in terms of lap times. 31.8, 31.3, 31.6, 31.1. So at the moment, just managing that pace and keeping the Porsche PM10 at bay, and doing a good job of keeping them at bay, because PM10 has not been able to find a way around. Now, is it a case of PM10 is thinking, well, look, if I can't overtake him, what I want to do is stick with him and at least keep the gap to those cars behind, because, you know, 2nd place is still a good chunk of points, 22 of the juicy things in total. And that's the current situation. We just can't seem to get past him. We're on lap 7 here. We're just coming up to the 10-minute mark. It is a 60-minute race here. So we are looking at what? Trying to work out how many laps there'll be if someone wants to work it out for me. About 40... I don't know, 48 laps? How does that sound? I'm thinking about 40, let's say between 45 and 48 laps. We'll have a better idea once we're halfway through. We've had some pit stops and shizzle. Yeah, wait till we've had some pit stops. That might give us a better judgment. So Kevin's still in the lead. He has opened a gap up a little bit, 0.7 of a second now. But front 2 are 6 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. So looking at the back of the pack, there we've got Banny's 13.4 seconds off the back, and he's going to have to pit for fresh tyres. If not the end of this lap, certainly the end of lap 8, which and I'm sure he'll go on to the medium tyres. He doesn't really need fuel at the minute either. There is Hardwire. He's also on those soft compound tyres, 1.5 seconds behind Canados at the moment, trying to find a way to get those soft tyres working for him before he's going to need to pit, which will be probably lap 9 or lap 10. Medium tyre runners, they're going to hang this out somewhere around lap 12 to 30. 12, let's say 12 to 14, depending on fuel and management on the medium tyres. And a wobble from Canos there lets Aristo just dive through up into 11th place. Fubar running in 10th in the McLaren. He is 7/10ths behind Wiggy, running in the Nissan GTR. And this racetrack not really suits. GTR is very, very comfortable in long, straight tracks, which are very high speed, because that's the strength in the GTR. When it gets a little bit technical, not quite so strong. Still one of my favourite cars, I absolutely love it. Thanos in the Chevrolet Corvette, running in 8th place. He's 5 seconds up the road from the battle. We can just see raging on behind the battle between Wiggy and Fubar, and potentially Ristoving attack on there. He's 1.6 seconds behind Aussie Rooster. This is the view of the car in front. Can he do anything to close down on that Porsche 911? And the minute Aussie doing a very good job, just hanging in there, slap back in the midfield. 3.3 seconds is the gap up the road to Panos. And there is your first pit. That is PM10 jumping in for the first pit stop at the end of lap 8. I said lap 7, lap 8 for the soft tyre runners, did I not? Yes, I did. So yeah, estimated that quite well. And he'll come out on the medium compound tyre. Or will he? He might come out on the softs again and go for a blast. Who knows? But dropping way down the order. And I think that's the downside to having to pit early. In an endurance race like this, when everyone around you is on the hard compound tyres, is it gives you a lot of people you've got in your way, because Kevin now will have a massive gap out front. There's Panos in the AMG. He will, he's trying to close that gap on Demos. 2.7 seconds is that gap. He's 3.3 clear of Aussie at the moment, and Demos is almost the same distance from Avalon that he is from Panos, slap bang in the middle of those two. 3 seconds is the gap to Avalon, who has now closed the gap on Mr. Cool Runnings. He's a soft tyre runner, is Avalon. He's doing a much better job of looking after the tyres than Cool Runnings did, Cool Runnings on the man, than Russo did, than PM10 did. He's now up to 3rd, but remember, he started in 5th, but dropped down the order and had to overtake a few cars just to start making these moves forward again. So didn't have a great first lap. How far up could he have been with that pace had he maintained 5th place away from the line? That's the question. But they are the top 3 at the moment. Avalon Shadow tucked in behind Cool Runnings. He's going to enjoy being stuck in there, because that's perfect for him. That's a good fuel saving and tyre saving opportunity right there, stuck in that slipstream. Does he look to make the move on Cool Runnings, or does he just sit in there? The gap is 4 seconds to 4th place now, but 9 seconds out to Kevin after PM10 went into the pits. He's come back out in 8th position. There is your race leader, Kevin 77 in that Chevrolet Corvette. I've just seen the back end sliding a little bit around that corner. He's got a 9.2 second gap. Looking at the fuel, pit window is going to be somewhere between lap 12 to 14. Maybe lap 15 for the braver of the bunch. Cool Runnings has burnt a lot of fuel actually at that 911. He's not really done any fuel saving, so he might have to pit. He'll have to pit around the beginning of that pit window, around that lap 12 mark. Just get me a can of Pepsi ready. So there is Avalon. If he can hold out for another 2 laps and go in when Cool Runnings does, puts him in a very, very good position, because Cool Runnings is on the medium tyres, whereas Avalon is on the softs. what that'll mean, sorry, just have a drink before it gets on. What that means for Cool Runnings is he's out of sync with all of the soft tyre runners, and he's actually more in sync with those that started on the he's more akin with those that started on the medium tyres, like he did, but he's pitting at the same time as the soft tyre runners. So his strategy very, very different. Of course, he does have the benefit that he only has to use soft tyres from that point onwards. But whether that's the viable solution, I don't know. Demos has closed the gap slightly, 3.6 seconds to that front three. But he's going to be able to run still for another few laps. So we're on lap 11. He's still got a decent amount of fuel there. I imagine we'll see him coming in soon. Who have we just lost from this run? So we have lost Hardwire again, leaving a room where he's not doing well, and it's so fucking frustrating to have people disconnected all the time, and it fucks up the lobby. Just hard. Well, I think his name's Hardwire because he used to get disconnected all the time until he bought an Ethernet cable. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know, but we did not finish for him, so no dual C points. But again, this is another reason why we like to have full numbers, that we can, if we do lose a few and some don't turn up, then we, at least we've still got a good sizable racetrack. Although GT7 did promise us 20 drivers on track, when we've actually get just still standard 16. But that is Avalon Shadow and Cool Runnings into the pits. The gap now for Kevin is 14.3 seconds. PM10 Racing, he has already pit. Everyone in front of him still needs to do so. 23 seconds is his gap to the leader. How much of that can he close down before Kevin goes in? Bear in mind, he's now on those medium compound tyres. He's lapping around the mid to low 32s on those mediums. So if he can maintain that sort of pace, yeah, it's not too bad. I don't think it's going to catch Kevin. Kevin's pace on the medium tyres is mid to low 31s. So, yeah. The pace for Demos a little bit above that. The pace for Panos a little bit above. It's mid to high 32s for him on the medium compound tyres. Aussie Rooster in the low 33s, and he's got PM10 already crawling all over the back of him. Remember, PM10's already pit, so making an overtake here will be a really, really good coup for him if he can get that move done. If he gets held up behind Aussie for too long, it's going to cause problems, and it's going to make it very, very difficult for him come later in the race, because what he wants to do is he wants to make the undercut work, and the way the undercut works is not being held up by another car. But Aussie's got absolutely no intention of letting him through, and neither should he. He doesn't have to let him through. PM10, it's his job, if he wants to overtake him, to do it on the racetrack. And he's in the slipstream, but is he enough in the slipstream to make that move? Not this time, as they go into that sweeping left-hander that makes up turn one here. And tucked in the slipstream though, which will certainly be helping him in terms of looking after his fuel, looking after the tyres a little bit, and giving him a bit extra straight line speed. But what it won't be doing is it won't be helping him if he wants to go hammer time, because if he's just not quick enough to make it past Aussie, with their paces that similar, then it's going to really cause him harm. And he does make that dive up the inside. That's a brave move from PM10. Gets the car slowed down, makes that move. Very, very solid overtake there from the Black Flag Stig, is what I'm going to call him from now on. Black Flag Stig. There is Aussie Rooster in the 911. He is 3.5 seconds up from this guy, Thanos. Thanos already in a little bit of space on the racetrack. The battle for fourth place ahead of him is still raging on, but he's 3.5 seconds away. He does need to pit still, so we'll find himself a little bit further off that pace. And lag is awful at the moment, really, really bad. That'll be people leaving the room. As soon as someone leaves the room, that's when the problem occurs. Excuse me. There's Avalon Shadow. He is past Cool Runnings, or ahead of Cool Runnings, should I say. After that pit turnaround. He's gone onto the medium tyres. Cool Runnings also onto the medium tyres. Very similar in fuel. No, not much difference. Cool Runnings a little bit more in the tank. But Avalon up ahead in 7th place. That's Aussie into the pits. And we'll see Avalon through. We will see Cool Runnings through quite easily. Thanos goes through as well. PM10 Racing had already overtaken him at that stage. Still with the fastest lap, of course. That was on lap 5 with a 1:30.9 for him. So Kevin 77. What do we say? Pit window. The pit window is firmly open now for the medium tyre runners. We saw some going really early at sort of lap 12. That was Cool Runnings we saw going in on those medium tyres. And now we're looking at when the rest of them drop into the pits. We know that Wiggy still needs to go in. Oh no, he's been in. He's been in and come back out on the racing soft tyres. And actually he's ahead. He's ahead of Aussie Rooster with quicker tyres on board. So is that a bit of a masterstroke from Wiggy? Because he was, you know, flying around from 10th, 11th place behind Aussie Rooster. So is this a big loss for Aussie? Because now, who has not pit? So Kevin's not pit. Demos still to pit. He will probably come in this lap, bang on lap 14. I'll say that as he goes past the pit entrance. So he's going to go one more lap in 2nd place. Panos will also do one more lap. He's got 3rd place at the moment. PM10 already coming up behind him now. He's definitely going to get past those two. Thanos pulls into the pits. That promotes Avalon up into 5th place. So just the front 3 still to pit. The 3 Greek guys, Kevin, Demos and Panos. Would that put PM10 in the lead of this race? 23.8 seconds is the gap, Lord. Nearly 24 seconds to Kevin. Kevin will be going hammer time for this lap 15. Just to give himself that cushion he needs. Is it going to be enough is the question. Has PM10 Racing done enough to overtake with the undercut? For me, I think 28 seconds or 24 seconds isn't enough. I think he's still going to come out in 2nd place. But it really then hinges on Kevin's pace in that 2nd stint. PM10 Racing trying to make the move on Panos. They side by side, they touch. But PM10 Racing is through, and it's nice to see him not jumping around in Lagsville since he's got his new shiny PlayStation 5. He is up to 3rd place. Kevin into the pits. We'll see Demos pull into the pits. He's 3 seconds up the road. And PM10 Racing will move, I think, into, at the very, very least, 2nd position. Possibly even 1st with this undercut. Not sure yet, though. Not sure. If he doesn't, it's going to be close. And it is really, really close. Because there we see Kevin coming out of the pits. And there we see PM10 Racing. He takes the lead of this race with the undercuts from the pit stops. But if you're looking at the pace, Kevin has still got some phenomenal pace. He is, though, on the medium compound tyre. So it's going to be 2-stop strategy with the softs. Is going to be how he finishes. Can this be done with soft, medium, soft? Or soft, soft, medium? Or medium, soft, soft? That's a really interesting question, because if we think, so what we're looking at somewhere around 48 laps for this race. So it means if you want a 2-stop, you need to get, if you're getting, as Kevin did there, 15 laps out of your medium tyres. We only saw somewhere around, 9 or 10 laps out of the, not even probably 9 laps out of the soft compound tyre. So that's not going to be enough to do soft, medium, soft. It's going to be 2 stints on the mediums, 1 stint on the softs, unless you're planning on doing a GMAX strategy of 10 stops in a race. So, but then saying that, it really depends how brave you are in terms of holding it out. I mean, we look at Avalon, he was on the soft compound tyres. He came in lap, I think it was lap 11 he came in, or was it lap 12? Lap 12, lap 10 that he came in. So he came in lap 10. And if it's 45 laps, it means you're going to have to do essentially 25, about 25, 26 laps on the medium tyres if you're going to run 2 stints on the soft. So actually maybe soft isn't, 2 mediums is the way forward. I suppose if you did it with hard tyres, you probably could make it work. But then you haven't really got the pace off the hard tyres. Bandit being lapped there by Avalon and by Mystical Runnings. And he's not letting him go, is Adrian. Adrian is stuck there behind Patrick in that Porsche. I have no intention of letting him pull away at all. They are both on the medium compound tyres. They're both going to run relatively long stints here into the race before they pit again. Cool Runnings for softs. Avalon Shadow for mediums. Demos 13, almost 13 seconds back from the leaders now, and the Beetle running better than I ever expected it would be in this class. I like the Beetle very much in GTS. I thought it was a brilliant car, and when GT7 first came out, it wasn't bad at all in terms of race pace. But I found after a few updates, he just didn't have the oomph. But he's certainly getting it out of it. But it turns out it's actually nothing to do with the car. It's because I can't freaking drive. He's not got his own way though. He's got that GTR of Wiggy tucked in behind him. We know Wiggy is a master of race strategy. So you know it might not look like he's going super quick, and his lap times will be slightly less than you think. But he'll have a plan in mind, and I don't think top 5 is without reach for Wiggy at the minute. He will run a relatively short stint this time round, and he may even be 3 stopping this race. But he'll have a plan in mind, most certainly. 5.3 seconds back is Panos in the AMG Petronas Mercedes. He is holding off Aussie Rooster. 1.1 seconds is the gap behind him. And if we take a look at the gap behind from the back of the car, where are we going? That's what 1.3 seconds looks like. It's nothing at all in terms of racetrack. You know, you brake a little bit too early in one corner, and that's all of a sudden gone from 1.3 seconds to 0.3 of a second. It's really that close. But there is Aussie Rooster. Of course, he's in the 911, and I hope his little driving space is warmed up. I know during the summer it's very hot, and during the winter it can be incredibly cold, and it is so cold today, guys, so cold. 4 seconds, get back to Thanos. He is holding well in that bright yellow Corvette. 1.6 seconds clear of Fubai in the McLaren. Can he do anything to close that gap? Well, at the moment, it looks like he's kind of just settled in there with his pace. He's been in the pits. He's got the next pit window is going to open somewhere. Well, for the, I think it depends on the tyres you're running, but it's going to be anywhere between, I think, lap 22 for those that pit really early, out to something like 28 for those who ran long and are running long again. There is Canados in that GR Supra. He is down in 11th place, 23, nearly 24 seconds behind Fuba, the Greek driver there. And he's 57 seconds clear of Bandit, and we've lost one from this race. We've lost Hardwire already to, I don't know if it was disconnection or a rage quit. We'll find out though. We just have to look at the replay to tell. As you see, Demos just lapping Bandit there in his little Beetle. So Kevin does get back ahead of PM7 Racing. Wasn't really, I didn't watch it because I thought it was going to happen. And let's face it, we've seen Kevin overtake in nearly every video we've ever done. In fact, any video that we've done where Kevin hasn't been overtaken has been because I haven't shown it. It just doesn't happen. 1.8 seconds is the gap. He's just started to ramp up the pace a little bit. Doesn't have the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, they have really been battling out. Certainly is a good track for Cool Runnings. Very good track for him. Look at that, he makes the move on Avalon, up into third. Great move there from Cool Runnings. Really enjoying this track and this car combination. I'll tell you what, he was messaging us earlier telling us he didn't even think he was going to make the race because the trains were all screwed up. And he gets in, he switches on, he jumps in the car, and boom shanker Into the top 3 he goes. Good race from him, and it's good to see Adrian back with us again. Little bit wide there though. Doesn't Avalon back in, it does. And a little bit wobbly coming back out, so just got a little bit overexcited into the big 180 and has to go again and make that charge. Now, in terms of tyre choices, he still has the soft tyres to run. However, he picked very early on those medium tyres, and I think that could prove to be a bit of an issue when it comes to racing Avalon, because we know, I mean, if we look at the difference in, well, I can see you can't. If I look at the difference in tyres here, Avalon's got a lot more to go on those tyres. A lot of grip still available to him. Fuel-wise, very similar. But again, Cool Running just losing grip on those medium tyres. It's costing him time. And there is PM10 Racing into the pits for the second time, and it's the halfway point. So he's going to be 3 stopping this race, because we're already at the halfway point of this race, and it's what, lap 20. So I said we'd be 48 laps. Maybe it's going to be 40 laps. Yeah, I think 40 is probably a little bit more realistic, to be fair. So there we go. 2 stops so far for PM10 Racing. Back out in 5th this time. And that's what, 27 seconds off the lead. Last time he pit, he was 23 seconds off. So the gap opening up a little bit. So his target has got to be somewhere there ahead of Avalon Shadow, who's currently running now in 2nd. Mr. Cool Running still in that top 3, 12 seconds clear of Demos. And I'll tell you what, it does make a little bit of a change to the table, because if we think that Cool Runnings hasn't raced in this tournament yet, but a large number of people that have raced have only raced 1 or 2 throughout. So he can actually find himself, and we'll bring the table up very quickly while we're watching. So potentially, if he finishes 3rd in this race, and I think it's going to be, it's certainly a possibility. It's going to be difficult, but it's a possibility. He could find himself jumping up above Digi. BfeR, I think Bandit, yes, 20 points for 3rd place. So he could find himself just under Bandit in 10th place. That does obviously depend on Demos, Panos. They're both going to pick up some good points today. Aussie Rich will also pick up some points. So I think maybe he'll find himself somewhere in that kind of, in there or thereabouts, with those guys, Demos, Panos, Arminis, Aussie Rich, that kind of area. With some potential. Then remember, there's still 3 races left. We've got 3 rounds left of this competition, and he could potentially give himself a good shout at a top 5 or top 6 finish if he races all 3 of the remaining races after this. Assuming, of course, he has the same kind of run. But there we go. So there is Kevin in the lead of this race. Fastest lap is not his. Look, we know he's not going to allow. Well, I mean, he might not have a choice, he might not be able to put the lap in, but he won't want PM10 Racing to have that fastest lap. He will want that for himself. Avalon Shadow currently running 13.4 seconds back. The gap just opening up, and at the moment, him and Cool Running is just so close in terms of pace. Fastest lap for Avalon Shadow is a 31.5. Fastest lap for Cool Runnings comes out as a 31.7. So only 2/10 in it, 2/10 difference in terms of fastest lap. In terms of average, they're both doing anywhere from sort of 32 mid to low 33s, with the occasional 31 high in it. And if we look at Avalon, very similar in terms of pace. There's no real differentiation between them at the moment. I've just noticed your name there, Shenanigans. Love it. Very clever. Demos there in 4th place. Cool Runnings into the pits for the 2nd time. So can he take this to the end of the race? He's going to need to fill this right up. Put some medium tyres on. I know he's putting on the softs now. So he won't be able to finish this race on those soft tyres. He would have to pit again. But he can do 2 runs on the softs, I reckon, to take him to the end. So it's all about pace now. Comes back out in 8th place. Aussie Rooster ahead of him will be pitting somewhere around lap 28, 29. Wiggy, he'll be pitting this lap for another set of tyres. So it'll be a 3-stopper for him as well. Panos, he will again lap 28, lap 29 for him. PM10 has pit. He will probably have to do a little pit and a blast towards the end of this race. He's currently running in 4th place. He's got Demos ahead of him. Demos can go some way. He can go quite deep into this race. Won't make it to the end, but he will have a little blast on these soft compound tyres towards the end. And I think actually keep an eye out for Demos in that little Beetle, because he is, well, so we're on lap 23. We're looking at about 40 laps for this race. And I don't see any reason why Demos can't take that car to at least lap 31, 32 before he needs to pit. And that means he's going to be on soft compound tyres, giving it some at the end. You're really struggling with that without your wheels, aren't you, mate? To be fair, I can't drive at all on pad at all. But then I was slow on pad before I got a wheel, and I'm not much quicker on a wheel. I might actually try driving on pad and see if I can improve my times, to be honest. Right, so Kevin is 15. 15, you heard that correctly. 15 seconds clear at the front of the pack. What do we do? Question 2 to the world. What do we do to slow this guy down or close the gap? Because it just seems that the better that everybody else gets, the better he still seems to get. It's almost as if he's holding back until someone gets close to him, and then off he goes. He's just such a phenomenally quick driver. What we need some competition. We need somebody in here who can beat him in his own game. I mean, at the moment he's in cars he's familiar with, tracks he's familiar with. Look, we know he's beatable. We know that there are people out there with the right settings and enough practice can beat him. But when we're looking at familiar tracks, familiar cars, particularly this Corvette, I mean, this Corvette is his baby, and he's a very difficult man to beat in this Corvette. But what do we need to do on a regular basis? It's a shame, Bandit. It's a shame. Yeah, no, that's the question. Answers on a postcard, please. The prize will be nothing at all. How do we slow down Kevin without chopping off one of his legs? Talking of missing legs, get also Chris, if you're watching from your hotel, from the Casa del NHS. Yeah, hope they get you sorted soon, mate. Yeah, I've got my heating on, Jason, and the problem I've got is I've got wooden floor down on wooden floorboards, and I've got some insulation, but it's just not enough, and it's -4 outside, and my floor is, everything in my house is cold. It's going to be and the missus have this eternal battle between. See, normally it's the bloke that says don't turn the heating up, but I'm the one that wants it warm. I want to be able to walk around my house in shorts and t-shirt, and she's very much like just stick a jumper on. So, yeah, she's turning into a grandmother. Yeah, I think he's everyone's future teacher. Yeah, it's very cold here, Jason. -4 at the moment. So, feeling the pain, man. Feeling the pain. So, what are we going to do? PM10 racing 27 seconds back. He's still in second. Still looking good for a top 3. But I think Demos is the man to watch here. Demos currently sitting in 3rd place. He still has another stop to do. But I think so does PM10. So it's where the stop lies. Now, I think PM10, but he's not going to stay in second if he does things like that. You can't park your car there. Get it back on track. Now that gap's down to 1.2 seconds, which means the gap out front is even bigger. Demos really closing down on PM10. Panos in 4th. He's got Cool Runnings chasing him down. Cool Runnings has been into the pits again, as has Avalon. I think Avalon's going to take this to the end, you know. I know what he can do in terms of fuel and tyre saving. He's going to run to the end. So the gap to Cool Runnings is 5.9 seconds. A little bit more now. Cool Runnings has made that move on Panos. And the AMG just losing out to the twisty-turny wiliness of that Porsche 911. Mr. Cool Runnings, that's the fastest lap of the race he's just put in. A 1:30.3. So he's not holding back. He knows he's going to have to pit again. He knows that Avalon probably won't. So he's doing exactly the right thing, which is just get the fuck on it and start to build a gap. He's ahead of Panos now. He's up into 4th. Can he close that 5.8 seconds to Demos? Bear in mind, we know that Demos is going to stop again. So looking at everybody on the racetrack, Kevin's got to stop again. Paul's got to stop again. Demos has got to stop again. Cool Runnings will also have to stop again. Panos definitely will. Avalon, I don't think will. Avalon at the moment is 41 seconds back. I don't think he's going to have to stop. So he is, at the moment, at current pace, is shooing for top 3. The people we're looking at putting out some pace now are PM10, Demos, Cool Runnings. I think it's very much dependent on the pace that they can start chucking out at this stage as to whether Avalon Shadow's strategy is going to work. If they can start to, I mean, if we look at what Avalon's doing, he's doing low 33s. Is his kind lap time. He didn't have a great lap, I wanted to say that, and as he does a mid 32. But if we look at Cool Runnings, I mean, that was a bad lap from the 32-2, but he did have to try and overtake Panos through there. But he's done a 30.3. If he can put in similar laps around that 30 or low 31 mark, he can open up the gap to Avalon, and then Avalon, purely, it's going to be down to what pace he does in the tail end of this race. There is Panos, we know he has to pit again. There is Avalon, we don't think he's going to be doing it. Aussie Rooster, he'll be pitting, and I said lap 28, and I think I'm bang on with that. He'll be coming in this lap, certainly not if this one would be the next one, as Thanos making the move up the inside. Can he make it stick? He can't, so Aussie Rooster just stays ahead, but Thanos desperately trying to get past him. He doesn't know that Aussie's got a pit soon. He just knows that he wants that 7th place, and he's trying to find a way through. But at the moment, Aussie says, I don't have to let you through. I'm not going to let you through. The only time you're coming past me is if and when I decide to pit. Then you can have the space. Until then, piss off. And just opening up that gap a little bit from Thanos now. This is why Thanos needs to close up if he wants to grab a bit of slipstream. But just losing out a little bit of pace on the straight to that 9.11. And a very, very wide angle there. And we do see him peeling off. So he peels off. Thanos will take 7th place as Aussie peels off into the pits for his 2nd stop. Wiggy, he is on those soft compound tyres. He's gone racy. He's up to 8th place. 6.6 seconds is the gap to the mighty Thanos. And dude, I almost had you, and you. You never had me. You never even had your car. I love that line. It's a great line from it was a really good film at the time. A little bit far-fetched now, of course. BfeR running in 10th place, 47 seconds back in that McLaren. Used to see him BfeR a little bit further up the order. Very odd, and he did comment earlier how he'd never seen me on the racetrack. It's because I'm fecking slow. So even if it wasn't a racetrack, he wouldn't see me because I'd be miles behind him. 11 seconds back. I mean, that's a big gap for BfeR. He's got a lot of racetrack to play in there. 23 seconds now, the gap to Aussie. Now Aussie's out of the pits. He's going to have to pit again at some stage. Probably towards the tail end of the race. There's Bandit coming in. Or is he staying? No, he's staying and he's still in the pits because he's struggling with the controller. So Canados running in 11th place, 11 seconds back. And I think he could probably make it to the end. Yeah, he's going to make it to the end of this race from that position. So here's your current leader. He's 27 seconds clear, which is about the length of the pit stop. He's got to stop again, but so has PM10 Racing. I can't see how he's going to take them. I could be wrong, and he could prove me wrong and take this to the end of the race. I just can't, for the life of me, see it. I'm looking at the fuel, I'm looking at the tyres, and I know I'm not showing it to you guys. That's because I don't want to. I'm not sure he can make it. We know that Demos is definitely going to be pitting. He's going to be pitting lap 31. I think lap 30 will probably be his bit. Unless he wants to come in, he might choose to come in this lap. But I think lap 30 is when the fuel's going to be saying, "Hey, come on." Cool Runnings, he'll run another couple of laps. Now, if we're looking at 40 laps, we know the soft tyres can do 8 to 10 laps before they start to drop off the pace. If he can take 3 or 4 more laps out of these tyres, take them to lap 33, then he will be in a really good position to go very racing towards the end. He's still got the fastest lap at a 1:30.3. He's just outside the top 3 here, and 33 seconds off the lead. So not going to challenge Kevin, but could potentially upset PM10 and Demos ahead of him. Panos running very well in that AMG, and I know I've counted him out. I don't know why I've counted him out. Looking at sort of Avalon as well at his position. But Panos is running very well in that AMG. He's going to pit at the end of this lap 30, and will put on the soft compound tyre till the end of this race. As we see Thanos into the pits, that promotes Wiggy. Wiggy up to 7th, Avalon up to 6th place. He is definitely running to the end. There is no question about that, and he is already crawling all over the back of Panos. And at what stage does he pull the trigger and make the jump? Now we know Panos has got a pit, but Avalon might not necessarily know that. He doesn't know what strategy Panos is on. So will he make the decision to just jump the gun and go in and make the move, before Panos goes in, or will he be lucky enough just to be stuck behind? See Panos peel off to that left-hand side and disappear. So Kevin in for his final stop of this race at 25 seconds clear. Does PM10 react and come in now? For me, no. I think you stay out. I think you've got another 10 laps to do. You've got a bit of fuel on board. You've still got some grip on those medium tyres. I think you come in now and get the soft compound tyres. I think you're going to be fighting a bit of a battle with yourself. What tyres does Kevin come out on? That's the question. Kevin comes out on the soft compound tyres. Now, it is bang on 10 laps on the softs. There's no question about it. But is it 10 good solid laps, or is it 6 or 7 really good laps and some where it's just a little bit ropey? Panos in, Demos in. So all the Greek guys pitting on this lap. So clearly a strategy worked between themselves. A little bit secrety. Should be doing teamwork, lads. It should be. Every man for himself. And Kevin does come out in the lead of this race. He's 5.3 seconds clear. So he's not going to be caught unless he puts in a tree or disconnects. So if somebody wants to disconnect some internet from Greece, now would be a good time to do it. PM10 Racing is going to pit probably that 32-33 for me, similar to when we'll see Mr. Cool Runners coming, who's now up into 3rd position. Just settled down with some low 31s, low to high 31s, which I think he's going to need. If he wants top 3, for me, that pace just needs to be closer to his fastest lap of a 30.3. If he can do it in the low 31s for the rest of this race, he's going to come in now. It's probably a lap earlier than he probably should have done. Yeah, he's going to be on the soft tyres, and he's going to be pushing till the end. But he needs to be pushing around the low 131s as a minimum. Avalon doing mid-32s, low 33s, but he's running to the end. So this is all about gap. How much gap can Avalon pull out? And how much can Cool Runnings make up per lap? He's going to need to make up, I think, 2 seconds a lap is what he's going to need. Wiggy comes in as well. Wiggy's also going to go racing. I don't know why we're counting Wiggy out of this. He's up to 5th place. I know he's in the pits now. So Cool Runnings come out on the medium compound tyre. I don't think it's going to be enough on the mediums. I don't know if he's got the pace on the mediums to close up on Avalon. The soft tyres would have been good enough. You could have taken the soft tyres this last 10 minutes quite easily. And I think he's over-fueled a little bit as well. But we'll see. We know he's going to go hammer time. Don't count him out at this stage. Demos, he is on the soft tyres. So he is going to be chasing down Avalon as well. Now, what sort of pace have we got from him at the minute? His pace, well, previous to his pit stop anyway, his pace was in the low 32s. He's still in the low 32s. But as that fuel starts to burn off and those soft tyres get grippier, I would fully expect to see that in the mid-31s. Now, Avalon is 5 seconds clear, and he's doing mid-33s. So that gap may well come down. So PM10 into the pits. How close is he going to be to second here? So in he comes. He's going to put on those soft compound tyres. Kevin now is out of reach. He's already 7 seconds clear. PM10's in the pits. Where is Avalon? Avalon just coming through. So Avalon actually moving up into second place. And it's going to be really, really close. Because I think Demos as well is going to come through. So PM10's going to have his work hard. Did he get ahead? He did get out ahead. But he's only 1.2 seconds ahead of Avalon. He's on the soft compound tyre. He's got 28 seconds to make up with Kevin. Don't think that's going to happen. But I think he's going to have to go a little bit hammer time, because there are going to be some guys chasing him down. He's got Avalon chasing him down. 1.2 seconds is the gap. He's got Demos on a charge. Demos just puts in his fastest lap of race with a 1:31.3. I said it was going to be low 31s that would do it. The gap is 1.8 seconds already to Avalon. So Demos starting to ramp that beetle up to a really, really good pace. Cool Runnings. His lap there was a 32.6. He needs 1.2 seconds a lap quicker than that if he wants to get involved in this battle for the top 3. That's what he needs. There's enough time to do it. We are looking at 7 laps remaining. He is 6.7 seconds behind. 1.2 seconds a lap. He will be on top of Demos. And I think the point, when it comes to the pace out the corners and in a straight line, the Porsche just edges that Beetle. The thing is, he's got to catch him first. And, you know, it's the old adage, it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. But until you caught them, you can't think about passing. But, so that's got to be his aim now. 6.7 seconds is the gap. We're going to start lap 34. That will give exactly 7 laps. And Demos makes the move on Avalon. Avalon already drops down to 4th place. That has got to be Cool Running's next target. I don't think he's going to be able to get on the back of Demos. But I'll tell you what, I think Demos might be crawling on the back of PM10 very, very soon. This is essentially the battle for the top 3. That's the battle for first. There isn't one. He's just put in a 1:29.4. That's a very distinct message to the rest of the field that I'm in charge and I'm winning this race. But we've got PM10 currently racing in 2nd place in that Porsche 911. He is 4 seconds clear of Demos in the Beetle. Demos, the Greek maestro from the Greek maestro in the Beetle. 3.5 seconds is the gap now, and he's trying desperately to close it. The man behind is Avalon Shadow. He's 2.1 behind. He opted to stop this race and go long with the fuel saving. It looks like actually the 3-stop strategy has been the way to go for the most part, because those that have run that 3-stop just seem to be in this part of the race now. They seem to have something about them in terms of running pace. Cool Runnings has closed that gap, 3.7 seconds. This is a good lap from him. So really closing down the gap. Don't know if he's going to make top 3, but I'll tell you what, Avalon is going to be looking in his mirrors very soon. So there is Cool Runnings coming through. That is a 31.0 for him. Said it's going to take low 31s. That's what it's going to take. Panos, though, he's doing high 30, but it's a 30.6 is his fastest lap. So don't count him out yet. Is he trying to get involved in this battle? He's only 2.6 seconds behind Cool Runnings and closing in the AMG Petronas Mercedes. Aussie Rooster's holding off Wiggy. 11 seconds is the gap. He's on the soft tyres, is Aussie, but those are some worn soft tyres. And I think they will make it to the end of this race, but it's not going to be plain sailing for him, because this is what he's got to contend with. He's got this car, the GTR of Wiggy, on fresher tyres, hunting him down. He's a little gazelle bounding through the forest, minding his own business, and there's Wiggy behind, scouring the trees, the panther scouring the trees, looking for his next meal, just waiting, just poised, ready to strike and have a little munch. And there's the back voice going, please leave me alone. But Wiggy's like, no, look at my aggressive front, I'm going to come and eat you. And that's what's going on between that. That's actually happening. True, I heard them say it. 1:31.5. Aussie just done his fastest lap, and that's his response to Wiggy doing 30.9. So the gap is closing. It's all over the racetrack. We've got gaps closing down. So Demos not able to close too much on PM10. Actually, PM10 has just put in a 29.9 to open up the gap. So he saw the danger and decided, I'm not risking it, and it's gone hammer time. So Demos going to struggle to catch him now. Avalon 5.4 seconds back now from Demos. I think the gap's too big for Cool Runnings to do anything about, but he's got 1 second penalty. That's the last thing he wants at this stage of the race, to have a penalty when he's chasing down Avalon. He did another good lap of 31.8, but that's going to cost us some time. And with Panos in the the high 130s, mid to high 130s, there is still some racing to be going on here. We're on lap 36. We are at Dragon Trail Gardens. This is round 7 of the Black Flag Racing Team's Open GR3 tournament. The yellow flag, that'll be for the penalty being served, of course. And that's one good thing we have to do. It's been very, very clean racing. There's been no issues. A little bit of carnage like we had on Monday. We haven't had that today. We've lost a couple for this race. We had 2 not show up for the race after ticking in. There will be penalties applied to them. I'm not having this bullshit. When we're getting full lobbies, we've got people that want to race and can't because people are ticked in. No, I'm not having it. So if you tick in and you don't race, you're getting points taken off you. Simple as. I don't show any. I'm sure no one will disagree with that. If you... and then we've got the other issue of people leaving during the race. It's not the dumb thing to do. I understand bandits' plight. I still think that I understand that you can't race with your thing, but stick it out anyway. Whether you last or not, it shouldn't make a blind bit of difference. Because you're essentially DNF, and because you're DNF, you get no points. It is what it is. But there's your leader. He's 30 seconds clear. If he wanted to, he could go into the pits and he could put on intermediate tyres, much like PM10 did earlier in the season. And but this time it'd be a very, very different scenario because he'd still be the lead and he'd probably make it to the end of this race. We're on lap 38. 2 laps remaining here at Dragon Trail Gardens. And I think I said earlier it was Thursday. It's not Thursday. It's Wednesday today. It has just occurred to me that I said that. I don't know why. There is your second place runner, PM10 Racing, our very own in-house stick. Some say that he has tyres for feet. We just call him PM10. 30 seconds he is behind Kevin. He has gone hammer time and just opened up the gap to Demos. And I think Demos has done enough. Cool Runnings has made his way past Avalon. He's up into the top 4. So he's won the battle of the Avalon. Cool Runnings battle. That's been won by Cool Runnings. And he just needs to get the car home now. But there's Panos. Does Panos have something to say in this battle? He's 1 second behind Avalon, who is only 2/10 behind Cool Runnings. This is not over. This is, but by no means is it over. It does, of course, play into the hands of Demos, who's comfortably in 3rd now, and they're not going to catch him. But this is lap 38. There will be 1 more lap after this for these guys. 2 laps for him, but that's because he just drives like a demon. Might be 3 laps. Yeah. So there will be 2 laps remaining for... No, 1 lap remaining for him. So 1 lap remaining for Kevin, which will be lap 39. Didn't quite make lap 40 then. So here we go, PM10 Racing in 2nd place. The 3rd place is Demos, but the battle for 4th is still on. It is Cool Runnings from Avalon, from Panos. And we'll have a look from the rear wing of Cool Runnings. He is currently just under 1 second, in fact just over 1 second clear of Avalon. Now Panos is going to be desperately trying to close on Avalon and take 5th place, but has Avalon kept anything back just to stop that charge? Because we can see that Cool Runnings is just opening up and it's not happening for him. That's the view from the back of Avalon's car, very similar of course. And we've got Panos is 1 second back. I don't think he's close enough to make the move. I think enough has been done at this stage. It's all going to be about if anyone going to run out of fuel. That's the question. I don't think Kevin will. PM10 will come home. So Kevin will win this race soon. But PM10 will come home in second place. So final lap for everybody out there. Anyone already finished? That's the question. Thanos has finished, so that will mean that Canados will finish next. But let's have a little look. So here comes Kevin. Kevin wins here at Dragon Trail Gardens. 30 seconds clear of anyone else. I think we'll see Canados probably next one at home, will he be? Where's he on the racetrack? Oh, he's still got some ways to go. Bandit has finished the race, although he's going down as a did not finish because he was in the pits. PM10 Racing will come home in second. Good solid race from him, actually. Did match Kevin pace for pace early on, but you know, couldn't sustain it for any length of time. Good race from Demos. Very, very comfortable pace. Moved himself up, got himself into third and stayed there. Also, Mr. Cool Runnings. Great race from him, actually. Very, very impressed with that. He's not had the greatest races in the last few, but he's got that Porsche exactly where he wants it. Fourth place for him. 5 seconds clear of Panos, who did get past Avalon Shadow. No, it's Avalon Shadow out of fuel. He is out of fuel. He's trying to make the line. There goes Wiggy. Wiggy goes through on the line. What about Aussie Rooster? Is he close enough? I don't think he is. Avalon crossed the line in 7th. Just runs out of fuel at the end there. And Wiggy nicks himself a 6th place on the line. And you've got to feel for Avalon losing no fuel at the end there. Although, to be fair, I think Aussie was struggling as well. Thanos comes home in 9th. Canados in 10th. Fubar in 11th. Bandit in 12th place. It's just screenshot those results there. And screenshots those results there. And that is the final lineup. So Kevin winning this race by 30.5 seconds. Also gets the fastest lap of the 1:29.4. Good finish from everybody there. So next week we are on to round 8. And round 8 will be where? Urban Pirate, I hear you cry. Well, let me tell you exactly where it will be. It will be at Suzuka. That will be on Wednesday the 21st of December. Same back time, same bat channel. We then move on to Road Atlanta on the 28th of December. And then in the new year, 4th of January, to Watkins Glen. And then we will move on to a new season. Excuse me. A new season of racing here in the GR3s, but more to be announced later. There we go. That race done and dusted. Hope you enjoyed that. But there is your leader, Kevin 77, bringing the car home. No fuel left on it, of course. The reason it's dragging out so long is because people left the road. So I'm sitting in the pit, so it drags out the end of the race for the full 3 minutes, which is essentially 2 laps worth. There we go. So there, it's all done and dusted. Great racing. Very well done. Let's save the replay there because that's I can't save the replay. Anyway, all done and dusted. Brilliant racing all round. So we move on to next week, of course. But tomorrow, what's coming up tomorrow here on Black Flag Racing TV? Well, it's that. It's we're back with Smoking Pirellis. It's the final round of Smoking Pirellis F1 at Abu Dhabi. So please do get involved in that if you can. That would be absolutely awesome. That's the wrong one. So, not more to say other than say thank you very much for joining us. I've been umpire. This has been Black Flag Racing TV. Back tomorrow for Smoking Pirellis. And then we'll see you on Saturday for the Mind event. Don't forget we've got that event coming up for charity. 3 hours endurance race for Mind at the phenomenal Daytona racetrack. And more details to come soon. Thank you for joining me. Laters.